Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to episode 74 of the Fightersrep podcast. I'm your host, the Fightersrep Fez, alongside the only man that's capable of beating 100 gorillas by himself. It's none other than ignorant behavior, Gary. Gary, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I see you got your NFL shirt on, man. I was, wanted to do
Flag football coaching, football coaching. Done.
I love it. I love it. I wanted to do a Shador thing with you. We haven't gotten a chance to do that. I think that's something we should be doing soon as well, man.
Yeah. I got opinions on that.
I know you do. But look, what we're talking about today, Gary, is, and I entitled the video accordingly, Haney Canelo Scull and the gang deliver one of the worst fight weekends in history. I called him Scull and the gang. That's me being witty, Gary. Because
I got you.
because Gary, these cards between Friday and Saturday, I mean, I was so excited going into Friday and Saturday after what we saw in that Conor Benn, Chris Eubank fight with the whole Fatal Fury, Saudi Arabia's Riyadh season, Turkey El Sheikh. That was such a fantastic event, in my opinion, from the week before with Eubank versus Benn. So I was hoping that would set the tone for this card on Friday, live from Times Square, New York, Gary, where we had three of the biggest names in American boxing, maybe more than three, right? When you throw in Rolly and the goofiness he comes along with. And then we had Canelo from Saudi Arabia on Saturday. I was excited about a fun back-to-back. It's almost kind of like, your wife walks in and then, maybe they had a little bit too much to drink and her best friend walks in the bedroom. You never know what happens in life. But but that's what I was hoping for. And instead,
Are you thinking about this in your head? You should say that out loud, because your wife is going to be like,
no comment, pleading the fifth. And instead we got two drunk girlfriends passing out on the couch this weekend. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, Gary. I don't know. I was just a little bit disappointed. What are your thoughts kind of in general before we start to dissect this thing?
A little bit disappointed. Like, I'm not going to lie. I didn't see the Friday night fights live. Only one I seen. Hold on, wait. Only one I seen live was the Ryan Garcia against Rolly. I seen that live. The other ones I missed because I was out doing stuff. Then I had to go back and rewatch. And man, they were disappointing. That was thinking about what you thought it was gonna be and what you got. You like
It was fight fan blue balls in every sense of the word, brother.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got us revved up on everything. And they gave us what they gave us.
It's like we blew the whole load on Eubank versus Benn.
That was a great fight, by the way.
Incredible fight, incredible build-up, incredible atmosphere, 65,000 people in an arena or stadium or whatever they had. And then, you come to Times Square in the United States, you've got triple, quadruple, quintuple the fighter power, right? Because you've got Teo on there, you've got Haney on there, you've got Garcia on there, you've got Rolly on there, who's goofy, but he's got a bit of a following. You've got Barbosa.
You can't call him goofy without calling Ryan Garcia goofy.
Oh well, how I feel about that, and we are going to get into that. But and I thought that was the chickens coming home to roost finally with that situation, right? With the whole I'm gonna come up with a song, by the way. Ryan is what I'm gonna call it. Ryan Garcia. But just very disappointing considering how much star power you had packed into this one card in this very unique event in Times Square, compared to that just one singular fight that everybody looked forward to in the UK. Let's kind of get into it first with Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barbosa, Gary. That was actually the best performance probably of the bunch was Teofimo. He looked to kind of be returning back to form. I'll be honest with you. I thought the Barbosa fight would be a bit difficult for him. I thought Barbosa looked better in his recent fights. I was actually leaning towards Barbosa in this one because, we remember Claggett and these other fights, Jermaine Ortiz, and, Teal's just looked not that good lately. And he kind of returned to form a little bit, Gary. He was a little bit slicker. He was a little bit more explosive. He was a little bit more of the fighter we're used to seeing from the old Teofimo. What were your thoughts on this fight?
He looks like the same Teofimo. Like certain fights are like when people say fight like styles makes fights, it's true. And so as a promoter, you set him up with somebody to look good against. Like anybody who's a mover, Teo has struggled with a little bit, So it's like they gave him somebody who they felt that he can beat and have a good performance with, and he did what he was supposed to do. That's how I feel about it.
You didn't think he looked better than he did in his previous fights?
Because they were other style fighters.
I don't know, Gary. I didn't think Claggett was that guy. I didn't think Jermaine Ortiz was that guy. I actually thought
Jermaine Ortiz had a lot of movement.
Yeah, but I think Barbosa is a better fighter than these guys, and I was, Barbosa just came back from beating Jack Catterall in the UK, a guy who, avenged his loss against Josh Taylor, a guy who's been at or near the top for a while, also beat Regis Prograis recently. I know he's not in his prime still, but Catterall's a tough guy, and Barbosa went out to the UK and beat him, and Barbosa's got pretty good movement, and he's got good boxing skills,
Catterall isn't Teofimo. We have to put some respect on his name now. Like we have to put some respect on Teofimo's name. He's not like no trash fighter. He's an athletic power. Well, I think the power as he moves up has dissipated to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But we gotta put some credit. We gotta put some onto your name. He's not like no pushover. You have to have somebody who's actually,
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is, he lost to Kambosos, a guy I don't think at this point would beat an Arnold Barbosa, if I'm being honest with you. He looked terrible against Claggett, who didn't really have much power and was just swarming him, not much of a mover. He didn't look good against Ortiz, and I thought he actually looked pretty good in this fight against Barbosa, a guy that I thought was more competitive than a lot of those guys. So I still don't think he's back to the original Teofimo, the guy who beat, I guess Lomachenko and knocked out, Kami and these guys. But I thought he looked better now, maybe 50% better than he looked in his last couple fights. But still, it was, Gary, if we're being honest, it was like a high-level sparring match, really.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I wasn't falling off my seat about this fight. It just happened to be better than the other ones, which were
exactly
so bad.
Exactly.
That was so bad, bro.
You're judging on the curve.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what's happening.
That's what's happening. Yeah, you're right. So, I guess, I don't know. I guess maybe when you're eating a pile of crap and I don't know.
Somebody give you a black Twizzler.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, this is good. Licorice.
Yeah.
They give you licorice. That's the nastiest shit ever. They give you licorice and you like, well, this is better than the shit I've been eating.
That's true. That's true. So, that's those are my thoughts on Teo, man. I don't got much more to say. He was calling out Boots. What do you think about him calling out Boots? I think that's way over the top, but I'd love to see it.
He'll get destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he'll get destroyed.
Yeah, I think so too.
And Ryan was calling out Boots. And I'm just like, dude, none of y'all are ready for Boots.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Ryan, let's talk about Ryan Garcia. Well, actually, I want to get into Devin Haney first, man, because that was another terrible, terrible situation.
It was a terrible fight.
Yeah, terrible fight for boxing. Apparently, Gary, they set a record for the least punches landed in a 12-round fight this year, while
I thought it was
also
thrown. It was landed.
while also being the fourth fewest punches landed in the 40 years that CompuBox has been tracking fights since 1985. Gary, the fourth fewest punches landed. I mean, what do you think happened here with Devin Haney? You know, I was hoping we would see the Devin Haney that fought Regis Prograis. I was hoping Devin Haney was going to come out and make a big statement and show us that he's gotten over the Ryan Garcia thing and that he's not going to be hyper cautious. But I guess I understand after the kind of the punishment he took in that fight for him to be cautious. But this was a little bit too much, Gary. I think this may have made him even more of a villain than he already is, man.
My thoughts on Devin Haney thing is that, you know, he never was a super like throw caution to the wind fighter. He always was a very you remember when he beat Regis, because you brought up Regis. I said he can't beat Tank. And you said, what? He put on a masterpiece. I said he could have got Regis out of there. He did not want to take the proper steps to get him out of there because he was so afraid of getting hit. And now that Ryan Garcia actually rocked him, drugs or not drugs, it doesn't matter. You get knocked out, and well, not knocked out, but knocked down. What he got? 3-4 times?
Something like that.
Yeah. So your first fight back, you're gonna be cautious. Now we got to see more fights to see if this is the Devin Haney we're gonna get. That's always cautious and scared. And his first fight back, he just did not want to lose. He wanted to win, and that's the way I see it.
By the way, Isaac McCary's in the chat. He said, you hate watching Muay Thai, but you can watch boxing like this weekend. No, Isaac. Listen, you're right. I hate watching Muay Thai because I think it's terribly boring. And somebody asked me to watch a Muay Thai fight on Saturday, and I did. And I wanted to dig my eyeballs out. And then I turned on boxing, hoping that I would get something better. And I basically got the next worst thing to a Muay Thai fight. Or a jiu-jitsu match, which was these fights this weekend, man. They were really bad. Gary, I don't know what the heck Devin Haney was doing in there other than trying to win a points fight, man. It just looked like an amateur fight to me.
Amateur, yep.
It was a points win. Good on him for getting back in the win column. I will say, you know, a lot of people would disagree with me on this. I am Team Haney. Between Haney versus Garcia, I think if you get
I don't know why they would didisagree with you with that because of the statements you made.
Gary. Most people disagree.
Like that, you're more team Ryan than Haney. You've shown that you're more Haney than Ryan after the steroids and everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think more people are Team Garcia or Team Haney?
I think more people are Team Garcia.
Yeah, me too. So I'm Team Haney, so of course I'm part of the unpopular bunch because, Gary, I don't like to see people cheated out of a victory, and I'm not saying Garcia purposely cheated, but where there's smoke, there's fire, and it looked to me like they found Osterine in his system, and he looked much better in that fight than he did in this last fight where allegedly he's clean. And so to me, just looking at all the evidence, I don't really trust Ryan Garcia. And I'm glad that Devin Haney won. I will say one of the positives that I take away from this is I'm glad Devin Haney won, right? Because it seems like he's a clean athlete. He hasn't been caught with anything in his system at the very least. And I'm glad Ryan Garcia lost, If he didn't do it on purpose, which again we still don't know.
You're glad about that?
Huh?
I said you glad about that?
I'm glad that Haney won, and I'm glad that Garcia lost. I am glad about it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of disappointed. I want to see Garcia Haney too,
Yeah.
and Garcia losing does not give me that. Now maybe it's Rolly and Haney. That'll be a
Yeah.
good fight. But yeah, man, I was looking forward to the rematch.
Yeah. It would be fun. I mean, they could still do it. It's just not going to be as popular as it would have been. But I'm saying I'm kind of glad that, it looks to me at least that, maybe karma was served. Again, that's assuming.
No, the best karma is Devin Haney beating him.
Well, if that can happen as well, I would like that as well if that fight happens. But listen, who the hell? I mean, I guess somebody would want to watch that somewhere on the planet. I mean, after this weekend, I don't know if it'd be a hard sell. I mean, I guess I'd still watch it
Yeah,
just because I'm a boxing fan. But Rolly just made Ryan look completely. I don't know. He just looked like an amateur out there. Rolly is
and I
not
didn't
a
see that
guy.
coming. I
Yeah,
did not see that coming.
Rolly's not a guy that I look at as a high IQ fighter or a boxer, and I felt like he just completely schooled and overpowered Ryan Garcia in that fight, and Garcia had no answers for him at all, Gary. I mean, he had no answers for him at all,
Because
Gary.
Garcia is a one trick pony. It's the left hand.
Yeah,
And let me tell you something. He kept the right hand up the whole time.
he
Like,
did.
you're not getting this left hand.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, hey, you're
yeah,
not. Like, Rolly really was disciplined, and you're not getting the left hand. What else you got? Ryan had other shots that he could throw that
yeah.
was there, but he was solely reliant on, I'm going to catch you with his left hand. And Rolly was like, no, you're never going to do this whole fight. You're not going to catch him.
I believe he was a plus 700 underdog, Gary, going into that fight, and that is
I wish I would have bet.
unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. I mean, I really, if you would have told me anything was going to happen that night, I would have believed it before that, right? If you told me
Yeah.
a guy was going to parachute in like in that Riddick Bowe fight or whatever it was, and
Riddick Bowe and Holyfield.
yeah. I mean, I would have believed that before you telling me that Rolly Romero was going to school Ryan Garcia and drop him in the second round too. I mean,
He did school him. That was like, don't get me wrong. I don't think Ryan Garcia is the most technically sound fighter. I never did. Defensive wise, he wasn't great. Technical wise, he was better than Rolly. That's why I thought he would beat Rolly. I'm like, he's better than Rolly, and he got some pop. He got some pop with that left hand.
Didn't him and Haney fight each other like 6 times in the amateur?
Yeah, and they split it down the middle.
I mean, he's got a big, long amateur pedigree.
And Rolly was late in the game.
Yeah, and so that will for me. I mean, but I will say, I've never seen Rolly Romero look that jacked in my entire life. I mean, the guy looked like a Marvel comic, dude. Did you see?
But I felt both of them look bigger. I felt both of them look bigger. Like Ryan looked jacked too. Not for regular people, but for boxers. When he came up from like one like 40 to now, he looks bigger, and so did Rolly. So
I thought it was interesting too that at the press conference, I'm not sure you saw this, Gary, but the Haneys were saying he looks like a fraction. He's not a fraction of the guy he was when we fought. You know what I mean?
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah. They were.
I disagree. I disagree because styles make fights, and the one thing that Ryan Garcia knew is that Rolly cracks harder than Haney. It's just a fact. Tank even said, "Hey, Rolly hits hard." So when you get hit by somebody who hits hard, hey, it's like the 100 men against a gorilla. They see him hit somebody hard. It's like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Well, Alex E is in here. Appreciate you being in here, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, join the channel. Help us continue to grow. He says Ostarine is a hell of a drug. I gotta agree, man. That is one hell
Charlie
of a
Murphy,
drug.
Huh? The David Chappelle.
One hell of a drug. Listen, also, I wanted to give you guys a heads up. I'm going to be headed to Manny Robles' gym to interview a few fighters, including Sergey Bohachuk and Toro, who's going to be fighting Caleb Plant. So I'm going to be doing that this week and dropping those interviews for you guys. And we'll be, me and Gary hopefully be dropping more content for you guys as time goes on. I'm aiming to drop daily content for you guys as we continue. So Gary, terrible record set by Devin Haney and Ramirez. Ryan Garcia, I don't know what he just did to his career now. I don't know where he goes from here, Gary.
He's still good. He's still good.
He
can still make something. Yeah,
he can make some money, and he's got a big
social. No, but he can still.
He's going to have to
be a big. He can still be on the big card. I mean, you lost to Rolly and you lost to, Tank.
Let me ask you though.
You can always double back and do it if you start winning again.
Let me ask you though, what do you think happened to Haney and Garcia? Some people are saying they broke each other in that fight that they had against each other. What do you think happened here? But with Garcia and Haney for them to have the performances they had, because as Isaac McCary is saying in here, Ryan stock dropped. Still a superstar, but the stock dropped.
Well, I mean, but it's two different situations. For Devin Haney, his stock dropped because you see him get dropped multiple times. And he can say, hey, he was on steroids. Some people will side with him on that. Some people won't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for Devin Haney, he needs a performance like he did with Regis, where everybody was like going crazy. I wasn't, but everybody was like, oh, he schooled him and all that. He needs a performance like that. But I do think that the knockdowns that Devin Haney affected him. And I just want to see another fight to see if this is the Devin Haney we're going to get, somebody who's scared to really engage, or somebody else. So I got to see another fight from Devin Haney. Now, as far as we go with, but now I'm sorry about that. As far as we go with
Garcia,
no, I'm saying like Ryan Garcia, he's always gonna have fans. Like, I want him to know that you can lose and still have fans and still recover from it.
Right,
as
but
long as you put on exciting fights.
But what do you think caused that performance? Because for me, it was a dip in quality. I mean, it was a tremendous dip in quality.
What caused that performance is Rolly can hit.
Yeah.
And he realized that he's not going to fight Rolly the same way he fights Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Like, even Terrence Crawford had said, like, years ago, Terrence Crawford said, if they fight, Rolly would win.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's certain things, styles make fights, and it's certain things for certain fighters that don't match up well with other fighters. And especially Rolly being able to see what Ryan did to Haney. Oh, it's the left hook, the left hook, the left hook.
Right.
Let me keep this hand up to make sure I don't get hit by that.
He was there the whole time, like this.
The whole time.
I agree.
Hey, he was really like, you're never going to hit me here. You are never.
Yeah. I wanted to give you my opinion.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I want to see they training stuff. Like, what do they train? It was like, hey, every time you put this hand down, we're going to hit you.
Yeah.
He did not put that down at all. Go ahead.
I wanted to give you my opinion on what I think happened to Garcia and Haney. You tell me real quick what you think, Gary. I think in that last fight, since that last fight, obviously they haven't been active. I think inactivity is a huge deal in combat sports, and, I think the inactivity affected the both of them, especially Garcia. I think if he was on Osterine and now he's not on it anymore, that could have had an effect as well, if I'm being honest, combined with the inactivity. I also think it took a huge mental toll on the both of them, right? For Garcia, dealing with all the substance abuse stuff and trying to get over it. And then for Haney, dealing with potentially having been, beaten really bad by somebody who may have been cheating, all the controversy that stemmed from that, the potential lawsuit, then it getting squashed for them to potentially fight each other. I mean, it's a lot of drama and trauma both guys kind of went through in that last fight. And I think when you combine that with the inactivity, Gary, you get what we saw there, man. I mean, two very flat performances, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
You are right about the inactivity. I don't know why Devin Haney decided to take off the same amount of time as Ryan Garcia. You could have been improving and doing. Like obviously he's sparring in the gym.
I think he needed to get his mind clear, Gary, because here was a kid in Devin Haney. You know, he doesn't know anything but boxing. He's dedicated his life to boxing. He took a pretty bad beating in that fight. Then he found out this guy had Austrian in his system. Then he sued the guy. Then he went to the New York State Athletic Commission. Then the lawsuit, they ended up throwing it out, or I guess deciding to cancel it. Then the win got overturned. And it's a lot, I think, for a kid making millions of dollars in his early 20s, mid-20s to process all this stuff, Gary. And I think that's a thing that people don't understand. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stress that goes into this. It's not just go to the gym and train and go fight. There's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. These guys are young guys with a lot of pressure on their backs and on their shoulders. And for me, it makes sense for him to take that time off to maybe kind of rest and process.
It didn't to me.
Yeah. Well, but I can understand. I guess I can understand why he did it. But
I can understand it.
Yeah. But it harmed him.
Me as a competitor, after I get beat, I got to go back in the gym and figure out why I got beat.
Yeah.
Even if it was Austrian or whatever, like Carl Lewis running track. Carl Lewis lost to somebody and they found out that he was on steroids.
Was it Ben Johnson or something?
Yeah, Ben Johnson. I was just going to say that. Like, it's Ben Johnson. He lost to him.
Yeah.
And he wanted to beat the time that Ben Johnson had. Even though Ben Johnson was on steroids, he wanted to beat that time. Like, as a competitor, it's like, I don't give a fuck what he was on.
Right.
I got to beat him on that because it's something I could have done that was better.
Right. Like Margarito Cotto.
Yeah. I got to beat this guy.
I get it. I get it. And then, Gary, after we set the table with the fourth lowest, punch landed in CompuBox history, that was the appetizer for Canelo, who fought William Scull, and they ended up, Gary, throwing the fewest punches in a 12-round fight in CompuBox history, with a total of 445. So I guess it was the punches landed that were the fourth fewest in the Haney fight, and it was the punches thrown that were the fewest ever in CompuBox history over the course of a 12-round fight for Canelo versus Scull. I mean, we went from worse to worser, Gary. We went from bad to really bad from one day to the other, bro.
Really bad. That was horrible.
And Turki El-Sheikh is out there, Gary, throwing money at these guys, and I feel like, all he did was buy them silk pajamas for these past couple of days, Gary.
It was crazy. Like, it was Canelo could not track him down, and then he would not stop and trade with Canelo. So it was crazy. And this is the thing for me with, I don't want to go back to Boots, but when Boots fought Karen Chukazan or whatever his name is.
Nailed it, Gary. Damn, your pronunciation gets good, bro.
Hey, I'm trying. But when Boots couldn't find him.
Hey, you've been hanging around me. You've been hanging around me for too long.
Hey, I'm trying, George. But when Boots did it with Karen, he could not find him because he did not want to engage. Now Canelo, we've seen him several times with Jamel Charlo,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah, Jamel Charlo. And now when a professional fighter decides I'm gonna stay on the outside and move, we've been seeing that with Devin Haney against Ramirez.
Yeah.
It's hard to hit them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't get him out of there. Canelo looked very frustrated at the end of the fight. He was very. This is why he doesn't fight movers, because it's like, man, you're moving. I'm old. I cannot move and cut you off and stop you from moving. So I want a guy that wants to fight. He even said it in the post interview. He was like, "This is not the type of fight he wants to have. He wants guys to come."
Gary, these young ones, Gary, they want to play the game. They want the back and forth on the text message. They want to be taken out to eat. Then you got to take them to the club. Gary, and me and you, we just want to get back home after a long days of work.
Close that door.
Make sure the kids are asleep, Gary, and that's it, big dog.
Pound Town. And see, that's what Canelo wants. Canelo wants Pound Town, but he don't want nobody running around. He like, man, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah. Instead of Pound Town, he's getting a run around. That's what he's getting, the poor guy.
Yeah, but I feel him though. I feel how he feels though.
Yeah, but listen, that was a terrible fight too, man. That was a terrible fight. That was a boring fight. I'm starting to feel bad for the Saudis paying money for this crap. I hope they don't burn. I hope we don't burn that bridge with Turkey, man. Turkey's gonna take his gravy back home if we keep burning the bridges with Turkey, man. That was not good, man. That was not good.
Nah, it wasn't.
But Gary, listen, man. I know you got to go. We've been on here over half hour.
Gotta go pick up somebody.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing this with me. We are going to be doing this. What do you think? Sundays? Sundays are a good day for us to continue doing this?
It's a good day for me, man.
So Sundays, knuckleheads, you heard it from the Ignorant One himself, the only guy to ever defeat a gorilla at Metro Zoo down in Miami.
Negative.
And we will see you guys very soon. So please subscribe to the channel, join the channel, and follow us on Instagram at these names below here. Appreciate you guys. Gary, thank you, man. Thank you for your time, bro.
No problem, man.
All right.